When I got back to Dalton, I found the Yankee army advancing. They were at Rocky Face Ridge. Now for old Joe's generalship. We have seen him in camp. Now we will see him in action. We are marched to meet the enemy. We occupy Turner's Gap at Tunnel Hill. Now come on, Mr. Yank. We are keen for an engagement. It is like a picnic. The soldiers are ruddy and fat and strong. Whoop, whoop, hurrah! Come on, Mr. Yank. We form line of battle on top of Rocky Face Ridge, and here we are, face to face with the enemy. Why don't you unbottle your thunderbolts and dash us to pieces? Ha! Here it comes. The boom of cannon and the bursting of a shell in our midst. Ha ha! Ha! Give us another blizzard. Boom! Boom! That's all right. You ain't hurting nothing. Hold on, boys, says a sharpshooter armed with a Whitworth gun. I'll stop that racket. Wait until I see her smoke again. Boom! Boom! The keen crack of the Whitworth rings upon the frosty morning air. The cannoneers are seen to lie down. Something is going on. Yes, yonder is a fellow being carried off on a litter. Bow! Bang! Goes the Whitworth, and the battery is seen to limber to the rear. What next? A yell. What does this yell mean? A charge right up the hill and a little sharp skirmish for a few moments. We can see the Yankee line. They are resting on their arms. The valley below is full of blue coats, but a little too far off to do any execution. Old Joe walks along the line. He happens to see the blue coats in the valley in plain view. Company H is ordered to fire on them. We take deliberate aim and fire a solid volley of Minnie balls into their midst. We see a terrible consplutterment among them, and know that we have killed and wounded several of Sherman's incendiaries. They seem to get mad at our audacity, and 10 pieces of cannon are brought up and pointed right toward us. We see the smoke boil up, and a moment afterwards the shell is roaring and bursting right among us. Ha ha, ha ha ha. That's funny. We love the noise of battle. Captain Joe P. Lee orders us to load and fire at will upon these batteries. Our Enfields crack keen and sharp, and ha ha ha, look yonder. The Yankees are running away from their cannon, leaving 2 pieces to take care of themselves. Yonder goes a dash of our cavalry. They are charging right up in the midst of the Yankee line. 3 men are far in advance. Look out, boys. What does that mean? Our cavalry are falling back, and the 3 men are cut off. They will be captured, sure. They turn to get back to our lines. We can see the smoke boil up and hear the discharge of musketry from the Yankee lines. 1 man's horse is seen to blunder and fall. 1 man reels in his saddle and falls a corpse, and the other is seen to surrender. But look yonder. The man's horse that blundered and fell is up again. He mounts his horse in 50 yards of the whole Yankee line, is seen to lie down on his neck, and is spurring him right on toward the solid line of blue coats. Look how he rides, and the ranks of the blue coats open. Hurrah for the brave rebel boy! He has passed and is seen to regain his regiment. I afterwards learned that that brave rebel boy was my own brother, Dave, who at that time wasn't more than 16 years old. The one who was killed was named Grimes, and the one captured was named Hauser, and the regiment was the First Tennessee Cavalry, then commanded by Colonel J. H. Lewis. You could have heard the cheers from both sides, it seemed, for miles. John Branch raised the tune in which the whole 1st and 27th regiments joined in. Cheer, boys, cheer. We are marching on to battle. Cheer, boys. Cheer for our sweethearts and our wives. Cheer, boys. Cheer. We'll nobly do our duty and give to the South our hearts, our arms, our lives. Old Lincoln, with his hireling hosts, will never whip the South. shouting the battle cry of freedom. All this is taking place while the Yankees are fully 1,000 yards off. We can see every movement that is made, and we know that Sherman's incendiaries are already hacked. Sherman himself is a coward and dares not try his strength with old Joe. Sherman never fights. All that he is after is marching to the sea, while the world looks on and wonders, what a flank movement. Yes, Sherman is afraid of Minnie balls and tries the flank movement. We are ordered to march somewhere. Falling back, old Joe knows what he is up to. Every night we change our position. The morrow's sun finds us face to face with the Yankee lines. The troops are in excellent spirits. Yonder are our big guns, our cavalry, Forrest and Wheeler, our sharpshooters, and here is our wagon and supply train right in our midst. The private's tread is light. His soul is happy. Another flank movement. Tomorrow finds us face to face. Well, you have come here to fight us. Why don't you come on? We are ready, always ready. Everything is working like clockwork. Machinery is all in order. Come, give us a tilt, and let us try our mettle. You say, old Joe has got the brains, and you have got the men. You are going to flank us out of the Southern Confederacy. That's your plan, is it? Well, look out. We are going to pick off and decimate your men every day. You will be a picked chicken before you do that. What? The Yankees are at Resaca and have captured the bridge across the Oostenaula River. Well, now that's business. That has the old ring in it. Tell it to us again. We're fond of hearing such things. The Yankees are tearing up the railroad track between the tank and Resaca. Let's hear it again. The Yankees have opened the attack. We are going to have a battle. We are ordered to strip for the fight. That is, to take off our knapsacks and blankets, and to detail Bev, White, to guard them. Keep closed up, men. The skirmish line is firing like popping firecrackers on a Christmas morning. Every now and then, the boom of a cannon and the screaming of a shell. Ha ha, ha ha ha. That has the right ring. We will make Sherman's incendiaries tell another tale in a few moments when... Halt! About face. Well, what's the matter now? Simply a flank movement. All right, we march back, retake our knapsacks and blankets, and commence to march toward Resaca. Tom Tucker's Rooster crows, and John Branch raises the tune. Just 20 years ago. And after we sing that out, he winds up with, there was an ancient individual whose cognomen was Uncle Edward. And the old woman who kept a peanut stand, and a big policeman stood by with a big stick in his hand. And Arthur Fulgham hallows out, all right, go ahead. Toot, toot, toot. Puff, puff, puff. Tickets, gentlemen. Tickets. And the Maury Grays raise the yell, all aboard for Cullica, while Walker Coleman commences the song. I's gwine to jine the rebel band, fightin' for my home. Thus we go, marching back to Resaca. Battle of Resaca. Well, you want to hear about shooting and banging now, gentle reader, don't you? I'm sorry I cannot interest you on this subject. See history. The Yankees had got breeches hold on us. They were 10 miles in our rear, had cut off our possibility of a retreat. The wire bridge was in their hands, and they were on the railroad in our rear. But we were moving. There was no mistake in that. Our column was firm and strong. There was no excitement, but we were moving along as if on review. We passed old Joe and his staff. He had on a light or mole-colored hat with a black feather in it. He was listening to the firing going on at the front. One little cheer, and the very ground seemed to shake with cheers. Old Joe smiled as blandly as a modest maid, raised his hat in acknowledgment, made a polite bow, and rode toward the firing. Soon we were thrown into line of battle in support of Polk's corps. We belonged to Hardee's corps. Now Polk's corps advanced to the attack, and Hardee's corps was 50 or 75 yards in the rear. A thug, thug, thug. The balls were decimating our men. We couldn't fire. Polk's corps was in front of us. Should it give way, then it would be our time. The air was full of deadly missiles. We could see the two lines meet and hear the deadly crash of battle, could see the blaze of smoke and fire. The earth trembled. Our little corps rushed in to carry off our men as they were shot down, killed, and wounded. Lie down! Thug, thug. General Hardee passed along the line. Steady, boys. The old general had on a white cravat. He had been married to a young wife not more than 3 weeks. Go back, General. Go back, go back, go back, was cried all along the line. He passed through the missiles of death unscathed, stood all through that storm of bullets, indifferent to their proximity. We were lying down, you know. The enemy was checked. Yonder they fly, whipped and driven from the field. Attention! By the right flank, file left, march! Double quick! And we were double quicking. We knew not whither, but that always meant fight. We passed over the hill and through the valley, and there was old Joe, pointing toward the tank with his sword. He looked like the pictures you see hung upon the walls. We crossed the railroad. Hello, here comes a cavalry charge from the Yankee line. Now for it, we'll see how Yankee cavalry fight. We were not supported. What was the matter? Were we going to be captured? They thundered down upon us. Their flat-footed dragoons shook and jarred the earth. They were all around us. We were surrounded. Form square. Platoons, right and left wheel. Kneel and fire. There we were in a hollow square. The Yankees had never seen anything like that before. It was something new. They charged right upon us. Colonel Field, sitting on his gray mare, right in the center of the hollow square, gave the command, front rank, kneel and present bayonet against cavalry. The front rank knelt down, placing the butts of their guns against their knees. Rear rank, fire at will. Commence firing. Now all this happened in less time than it has taken me to write it. They charged right upon us, no doubt expecting to ride right over us and trample us to death with the hooves of their horses. They tried to spur and whip their horses over us, but the horses had more sense than that. We were pouring a deadly fire right into their faces, and soon men and horses were writhing in the death agonies. Officers were yelling at the top of their voices, "Surrender! Surrender!" But we were having too good a thing of it. We were killing them by scores, and they could not fire at us. If they did, they either overshot or missed their aim. Their ranks soon began to break and get confused, and finally they were routed, broke and ran in all directions as fast as their horses could carry them. When we reformed our regiment and marched back, we found that General Johnston's army had all passed over the bridge at Resaca. Now, reader, this was one of our tight places. The First Tennessee Regiment was always ordered to hold tight places, which we always did. We were about the last troops that passed over. Now, gentle reader, that is all I know of the Battle of Resaca. We had repulsed every charge, had crossed the bridge with every wagon and cannon and everything, and had nothing lost or captured. It beat anything that has ever been recorded in history. I wondered why old Joe did not attack in their rear. The explanation was that Hood's line was being enfilade, his men decimated, and he could not hold his position. We were still fighting. Battles innumerable. The Yankees had thrown pontoons across the river below Resaca in hopes to intercept us on the other side. We were marching on the road. They seemed to be marching parallel with us. It was fighting, fighting. Every day, when we awoke in the morning, the firing of guns was our reveille, and when the sun went down, it was our retreat and our lights out. Fighting, 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 all day and all night long. Battles were fought every day, and in one respect, we always had the advantage. They were the attacking party, and we always had good breastworks thrown up during the night. Johnston's army was still intact. The soldiers drew their regular rations of biscuit and bacon, sugar and coffee, whiskey and tobacco. When we went to sleep, we felt that old Joe, the faithful old watchdog, had his eye on the enemy. No one was disposed to straggle and go back to Company Q. Company Q was the name for playouts. They even felt safer in the regular line than in the rear with Company Q. Well, as stated previously, it was battle, battle, battle. Every day for 100 days. The boom of cannon and the rattle of musketry was our reveille and retreat, and Sherman knew that it was no child's play. Today, April 14th, 1882, I say, and honestly say, that I sincerely believe the combined force of the whole Yankee nation could never have broken General Joseph E. Johnston's line of battle, beginning at Rocky Face Ridge and ending on the banks of the Chattahoochee. That concludes the 18th part of the story. Thank you very much for listening. Please subscribe for more episodes and leave a comment.